What's going on, guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings NFL Week 5 picks. So before we get on to this week's picks, let's take a look back at Week 4. Overall, very below average Week 4 for me. I had a couple good picks, as you can see on the left. DeAndre Hopkins, 27.7 points. That was a big play for me. And Gary Barnidge, tight end I gave out in last week's video, 19.5. But then you can see on the right, we had quite a few high-priced players like Cobb and Jones. They were complete busts. I had a couple of busts there and a couple other ones that didn't do too well. So overall, it was a poor Week 4 for me. Scoring all around was down at DraftKings, but overall, I didn't have a great week. We move on to Week 5 where we look to get back to our winning ways here. So let's go. All right, so real quick before I get started with the Week 5 picks for DraftKings, I just want to say that these are for GPP tournaments. So I'm going with some riskier picks. We're trying to get that first place, and we want some lower owned risky picks. So first up here is Matt Ryan, 6,700. He's a pretty cheap price for a top QB, and he's at home facing the Redskins. What we're hoping for is that they don't go up by a lot like they did last week, and they actually throw the ball a bit more this week. So his salary has dropped from $7,500 at the start of the year down to $6,700 right now. So that's pretty good value right there. The drop might have been because of last week's blowout. He didn't have a lot of points, but before that blowout, he had a minimum of 18.62 DraftKings points in the previous weeks. So I think Matt Ryan's a good pick, and we're going to stack him, as you can see on the next slide here. So I'm going to stack Matt Ryan with Julio Jones and Hankerson, maybe in the same lineup, but we might just go Ryan and Jones and then Ryan and Hankerson. I'll do a couple different variations. So Julio Jones, 9,200. Hankerson is 4,000. Julio had a disappointing week last week because of the blowout. He didn't get many opportunities, but before that, he put up 38, 29, and 43 DraftKings points. He's almost always double digits in targets, and he's always a great pick. I'm hoping his ownership level is going to go down a bit after last week. A lot of people that were watching the games last week, they might go to Freeman. I'm going to come back to Jones again for Week 5. So Hankerson, the last 3 weeks, he's had 11, 6, and 8 targets. He seems to be Ryan's second favorite target, and he's gotten 2 touchdowns on the year. He does have a bit of upside there, and at 4,000, he's a good pick. You can actually stack both of these players in with Ryan. Maybe they both get a touchdown. Maybe Julio gets 2 and Hankerson gets 1. You never know. That could set up for a big week. So I'm going to be stacking these guys in different ways with Ryan. Next up here, we got Peyton Manning at 7,000, stacked with Emmanuel Sanders at 7,400. The Broncos are facing a weak Raiders defense, and because Manning didn't have a great week last week, he didn't have a great week 1, his price is actually dropping at DraftKings, and this week it's the cheapest it has been all season at DraftKings. Sanders' salary has also dropped as well. It dropped $300 this week, and it's dropped $500 overall since week 1. He didn't have a great week last week, but overall he always gets lots of targets. He has high upside. I'll take Sanders this week, quite a bit cheaper than Demaryius Thomas, so I'm going to stack Sanders and Manning this week. Moving on to a running back here, we got Dion Lewis at 4,800. Ownership levels are going to be down on Lewis right now with Blunt back in the backfield. He's somewhat risky because he doesn't carry the full load anymore, but I like that he has 5 catches in each of his games this season. And also last week was a blowout versus Jacksonville, and Blunt got a lot of the second half touches. I'm thinking that if this week they're in a closer game with Dallas, Lewis might be the number 1 back. He might be catching passes out of the backfield and running the ball a bit more. So he's still pretty cheap at 4,800. I like him as a little bit of a risky value pick here for Week 5. My next running back here is Justin Forsett at 5,800. He's coming off his best game of the season. He hadn't had a great season up until last week where he put up 150 yards on 27 carries. And despite that game, his price has dropped another $200. So I really like Forsett here. They should be running the ball a lot versus the Browns, especially if they take the lead. Forsett should be getting his carries. There's some wide receiver injury problems there, so I'm guessing they're going to be running quite a bit this week. So I like Forsett for another running back pick. We've got a value wide receiver play here with Cole Beasley at 3,100. So Beasley's caught 4 passes in each game. He's coming off a 6-catch, 62-yard game, and the Cowboys might be trailing versus the Patriots, and they might be forced to throw quite a bit in the second half. And with Dez Bryant out, Beasley has become one of the higher targeted players behind Williams and Witten. So I'll take a shot with Beasley at 3,100. And then here's 5 more picks that I like on the week that I'll have in my lineups. We've got Alex Smith at QB facing the Bears. You can pair him up with maybe Kelsey or maybe Macklin. We've got Todd Gurley, who looks like he's taken over the number one spot there for the Rams in the backfield. He had a big game last week. His ownership levels might be up because of that, but you never know how many people are going to catch on to that. I'm hoping he gets the load again this week. I'll take Gurley in some lineups. Odell Beckham's facing a bad San Francisco team. I'm going to guess that he's going to have a pretty good game. He's expensive at $9,000, but I'm still going to roster him a bit. Phillip Rivers facing Pittsburgh. That should be a high-scoring game, Monday Night Football. Steelers secondary isn't the greatest, so we'll go with Rivers at a pretty cheap $6,200 price. I'm guessing he'll be a little highly owned, but I'll still take him in some of my lineups. And then another stack that you can do with Manning is Owen Daniels, his tight end, $2,700, pretty cheap. Raiders aren't the greatest against tight ends, so that's a good play there too. All right, guys, there's my NFL Week 5 picks. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up button so I know to keep making these weekly pick videos. If we can get over 100 likes again this week, I'll make one for Week 6 as well. And if you guys want my free lineup tool, if you don't already have it, the link to that is in the description below. I paid over $1,000 to have this made, but I'm giving it away to you guys for free. So go click on the link in the YouTube description for that free tool if you don't already have it. As always, guys, good luck with your DraftKings contest. Hope you guys take one down this week. Cheers, guys.